What was the story with the student that got arrested for writing an op-ed piece?
Is that the Khalil guy or
No, the woman.
Is that the girl from the Korean girl from? Is that the Korean girl from Columbia University? I don't know.
Korean.
No, that's a different one because there's been so fucking many of them.
What's going on, you guys? Today we have Kyle Kulinski slamming Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is falling out of relevancy, losing fans, losing touch with the American people, grifting to conservatives. And yeah, it's just Kyle Kulinski. He is calling him out for every single thing that he's done. You know, it's a clip from the Kyle Kulinski show. Kyle Kulinski is like breaking down the Joe Rogan episode one by one, and I'm going to step in every so often to give my commentary. If you guys want to watch, let's get into it.
I'm not sure there's anybody in media who's been harder on Joe Rogan than me in recent times. Because Joe Rogan was a guy who supported Bernie Sanders in the past. He had many liberals and lefties on, people like myself, people like Abby Martin. And by all accounts, seemed like a decent dude whose heart was in the right place. He in the past had advocated for universal health care on his show and higher wages and ending wars and all that stuff. And then as time went by, he sort of got cocooned in a right-wing echo chamber surrounded by right-wing MMA fighters and comedians and politicians and commentators and shit like that. And eventually he just went full mask off MAGA, right? He literally endorsed Donald. He had Donald Trump on the podcast, gave him a fucking hot stone massage and jacked him off, and then endorsed him afterwards. He also had J.D. Vance on the podcast, and probably even more, I don't know if it's even more unforgivable or equally unforgivable, probably equally. He also has on some billionaire robber baron oligarch seemingly every couple weeks, whether it's Mark Andreessen or Peter Thiel or Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk every fucking Tuesday, right? So I ran out of sympathy, right? I ran out of sympathy for the dude because it's like you went full right wing, you went full mask off, and everything you claimed to believe in the past, you don't believe in it. You're endorsing a guy who stands for the exact opposite of everything you said you believed in, right? And then also, he's a cautionary tale of how just a tsunami of misinformation and conspiracy theories and bullshit online can just warp somebody's mind in real time, right? So...
And right now, I don't know if you guys agree, but Joe Rogan turning his back on that side of America. I mean, whether or not you're going to say, okay, well, the Republicans won, you know, this is obviously the majority. Well, there's a whole nother half of America that Joe Rogan was agreeing with for a certain point in time. So now that he's going to completely turn heel, completely go full red, full MAGA, it's a little bit disheartening to the ones who believed in him to stick up for the every person, to actually be objective and not to fall into a echo chamber of some sorts. And we can see that Kyle Kulinski is upset. We're upset as a people.
But now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a little update here for you. And I'll ask you the question, and you can comment below after you watch the whole thing, and you let me know. Obviously, you'll hear my thoughts throughout this, but has Joe Rogan grown a pair of balls, and has he criticized Donald Trump here? That's my question for you. Now, I'm not saying has he grown balls like big elephant balls. I'm saying, has he sprouted some tiny little pea-sized balls? That's the question, okay? So let's watch. We'll break it down as we go. He has on the host of the Trigonometry Show. I can't with those guys. Oh, I can't. All these podcasters that came out of nowhere where they just rode the wave of like, political correctness, bro, left-wing snowflakes, bro, cancel culture, bro, pink-haired college kids, bro. All the fucking asshole podcasts that came out of that, right, just riding that wave of like, in the left woke. I hate all of them so much. They're such hacks. It's such low-hanging fruit. It was such a, how can I get popular? Oh, I'll say that, right? So anyway, here they go.
31-year-old makeup artist falsely deported to El Salvador prison, lawyer says. Immigration attorney a gay Venezuelan makeup artist seeking asylum in the U.S. was wrongly detained as a gang member and deported to El Salvador, a case becoming a flashpoint in the debate over the Trump administration's deportation of hundreds of migrants to a notoriously inhumane El Salvador mega prison. Man. So again, it's hard to know.
Yeah, it's hard to...
It's hard to know. Oh man, what am I gonna do with this? What am I gonna do with this? Here are a list of undeniable facts about innocent people who were illegally shipped off to an El Salvador slave labor camp. It's hard to know, bro. Oh, is it? It's hard. Why is it hard to know? I'll tell you why it's hard to know. It's hard to know because you're fucking buddies with Trump and Dana White and J.D. Vance and Elon Musk, and you talk to them on a regular fucking basis, and you went to his inauguration and you want to fucking party and do podcasts at Mar-a-Lago. That's why it's hard to know, right? That's why it's hard to know.
Be known too, it's not just Joe Rogan. You have Joe Rogan, you have Tim Dillon. It's all of his little, group of stooges that go on. You have Tim Dillon, who has talked so much crap about Steve Bannon, and then has Steve Bannon on his show, and he doesn't even press him for one freaking thing. There's nothing that Tim Dillon is pressing Steve Bannon about at all. It's disgusting. It is disgusting how all of these guys will continue to talk crap. But now they see that this is popular. This is where actually majority of their audience is at. So why would I go against it? And it's just, do you have a backbone? Do you have anything that you stand for? Joe Rogan's not getting the hint. He's losing viewers though.
I like these guys, and I'm in the friend group, but like, this sounds really bad and totally indefensible. So like, it's hard to know. It's hard. It ain't fucking hard to know. It's right there in front of you. Man up. Say it.
What's real and what's not real, but if it is real, this is fucking horrible.
But if you think about it, Joe,
that's as good as you're gonna get. That's as good as you're gonna get from 2025 Joe Rogan. If it is real, it's horrible. We know it's real. Say it's fucking horrible unequivocally and call out your boy. Call him out. Fuck, you say it on the podcast and then call him on the fucking phone. Hey, are you destroying due process? Are you destroying the Constitution? Are you ripping up the First Amendment? What the fuck are you doing?
Say if you're rounding up hundreds of people, mistakes are going to get made because everyone's human.
100%.
And you then have to have a system, I think, that allows you to amend and make adjustments for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love how he's, as vaguely as possible, describing what due process is. We should probably have a system where, like, if they try to arrest you or deport you or take you somewhere or something, that, like, you check to make sure it's correct and you, like, present evidence or something, maybe to somebody we can call a judge? Yeah, a judge. What? You're describing due process. And your guy's favorite president fucking destroyed it. Ripped it up, shit on it, and lit it on fire.
Joe Rogan must really be hurting for guests. He's got the whole fucking star of DuckTales right here, dude. I mean, it's just, he's quacking on MAGA dick. Joe Rogan would have any conservative on his show besides his father, who's estranged and hates Joe Rogan.
Gonna say that? No, you're not gonna say that, are you?
And it can't be bury your head in the sand and pretend it didn't happen.
No.
Yeah.
And this is the trouble with government. The incentive structure is all wrong. Like, to admit that is now embarrassing.
That's crazy.
Right? And it's scary. We have the same problem in the UK in terms of the illegal immigration. And if we ever get a government that's going to deal with that, we're also going to have to remove a lot of people who are there illegally. They shouldn't be there. A lot of them are. And, like I said, we had a report that shows they're way more likely to commit sexual crimes.
Oh, my God.
Way more likely to commit violent crimes. They're way more likely to commit all sorts of crimes.
I love how a conversation about how this insane crackdown on immigrants and how they're getting innocent people and shipping them off to an El Salvador slave labor camp, how quickly it morphs into actually, immigrants are really bad and they commit crimes and stuff, bro. You know what I'm saying? Wow. That is fucking low. You're presented undeniable evidence to the contrary, and you're like, yeah, but in many other instances, there actually are a lot of criminal stuff. Well, okay, that's nice. Why don't you check the numbers for here in the United States, where the reality is the exact fucking opposite? They've done studies on this, and both documented immigrants and undocumented immigrants are much less likely to be criminals than people born in the United States of America. That's the reality here. You gonna bring that up? I didn't think so.
You're going to have to remove them, but you have to do it in a way where there's due process and a respect.
Are they trying to remove them in England?
No.
At all?
No. They're saying they are, but they're not removing them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the mistakes like that have to be corrected if you want reasonable people to be on board with you.
By the way, it's adorable that he thinks it's a mistake. One of these ICE reports came out, and they literally said, hey, one of these people we're deporting, they have tattoos. You know how they're using that to say they're in a gang, right? Well, what did the tattoo say? Mom and dad. They had a tattoo that said mom and dad. They took a look at it and they said,
The only mistake here is you, Joe Rogan. That's why your family disowned you. That's why they do not want to talk to you. They continue to reach out and they said, this guy is ignoring us. He does not want to see us. Go talk to your family, Joe Rogan. They need you. They need you, Joe Rogan. Where are you? Why are you hiding in Texas? They're in New Jersey, Joe. Stop being a mistake. Stop being hated by your family. Yeah, they hate you. Go talk to them.
ship them to the slave labor camp in El Salvador. Joe, I hope you're listening. It's not a mistake. They want to do this. It wasn't a mistake when they rounded up Mahmoud Khalil for being pro-Palestine and against Israel's genocide. That was the point. The point was, we don't want people who are pro-Palestine and anti-Israeli genocide. We arm Israel. We fund Israel. We support Israel. Trump took $100 million from the Israel lobby, from Miriam Adelson, right? This is the point. It's not mistakes. This is what they want.
If you want, compassionate people to be on board with you, you can't deport gay hairdressers seeking asylum. That's fucking crazy. And then throw them in an El Salvador prison. That's
not even his country.
Right.
That's as good as you're going to get from Rogan in 2025 right there. All the caveats, all the hedges, all mistake, etc. But what he just said right there is the best you're going to get from Joe Rogan in 2025.
You deport people back to their country.
Right. It's nuts. It's just, what was the story with the student that got arrested for writing an op-ed piece?
Is that the Khalil guy? Or?
No, the woman.
Is that the Korean girl from Columbia University? I don't know.
No,
that's a different one because there's been so fucking many of them.
It's too late, Joe. We're all getting deported now. We're getting deported. You're about to get deported for what you're saying right now. You're going to have to do this Joe Rogan fucking thing from Guantanamo Bay, homie. You better hope they have good audio. You better hope that it's not too echoey. That's going to really mess up your audio, Joe Rogan. You better watch out, man. Look, I'm telling you, dude, we're all about to get deported. We're all, anyone who is not freaking Handmaid's Tale in this shit, anyone who is not off birth control, you get what I'm saying? It's all going down the shitter. It's all going downhill. We have a few voices left of reason, but they are soon to be silenced, and it's all done for. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. It's another day in the progressive way.